I rode into town on the back of a small camel I had picked along the way. The days had rolled into weeks, into months. I had no idea of the date, but knew exactly my location. After so long alone, my mind had become adult. I became fixated. Everything I'd known before had left me, and I was now truly, totally purified. What ails you, sir? I met the Prince of Persia, and he gave me his blessing. No, I gave him my blessing. I have met the Prince of Persia and have given him my blessing. Now I'm here to give you my blessing as well. The man in a shawl continued about his business unperturbed. Perhaps he was put off by my mother language. You must excuse me, sir. You are the first man I have spoken for I don't know how long. How may I ease your toil? Well, you can help me to move these boxes for a start, said the man. I think you misunderstand me. I laughed. I'm not here to offer you labor. I'm here to offer you comfort. Then you can give me a robe. What is it? Silk? No, sir. I do not come to offer you material goods. I'm here to enrich you. Then give me your money so I can go home early today, said the man, whipping his brow with his back of his arm. No, you do not understand. I am not here to offer you money, nor material, nor labor. I'm here to offer you something deeper, a jewel of greater value than any on earth, a gift more generous than you shall ever receive again, a blessing more sacred than could ever be offered by any holy man in the East. Do you accept my gift? Well, how can I accept it if I don't know what is it? Asked the man. Can you afford not to accept it? I replied. I can't afford most things, but I am a humble laborer. But I cannot accept a riddle from a desert dweller unless you tell me what is it. My good man, I offer you forgiveness. I smiled. The greatest reward that can be bestowed on a human being. And I offer it to you now. For all the men in the world, you are the first to be chosen. Forgiveness? What am I supposed to do with that? Asked the man, becoming irate. How I am to feed my family on something so insubstantial as forgiveness? How do you expect me to pay my duties? How can I lift heavy crates all day? Will your forgiveness save me when I'm old and crippled and can no longer work? And for what do you purport to be forgiving me? I do not understand. I've chosen a fool, an unwilling fool. How could you understand? You are, as you freely admitted, nothing more than a humble laborer. You should be grateful for my gift, but now I see you don't deserve it. The foolish man called me as I continued the street. We see 10 of you every week, you know that, each of you the same as the last one, not a shred of truth in your promises and hopes. I sensed as I traversed the hustle and bustle that the city was lawless, godless one, full of thieves, beggars, and whores. Iniquitous, salacious, ignominious for a man of my moral superiority. The stench of waste and debauchery choked my nostril and stung my taste bud until they were numb. Men shouted, children screamed, only the women remained silent and clinging to their virtue like a branch of autumn leaves. It was a crude place in daylight and a cruel one at night. A false prophet stood on every street corner, wailing their blasphemy into the uncaring crowd. Priests bolted the door of their temple to keep the lusty savages from stealing their gold and befooling their walls. Bell rang out dire, warning out the beat of every hour, unheeded by the masses. A page of sacred text floated high above their heads, drifting down the street on the midday breeze. Even the camel have more dignity than these people, and would let to the prayer without complaint, should anyone decide that their soul were worth saving. A cruel trick to give these humans the liberty to damn themselves. I found my humble abode on the top floor of a ramshackle tower, which overlooked the east side of the city. The landlady was a widow whose husband has been executed for the petty theft when time was hard. Her son, so she told me, was a soldier. When I asked for whom he fought for, she became icy and rapidly changed the subject. From the window of my room, I could see the temple tower and the palace rooftops. And by leaning out slightly, I would be possible to spit on the inhabitants of the street below. There were no glass, only a tattered cotton sheet to keep out the sandstorms and bugs. I've decided this was not my bedroom, but my shrine. Of all others, looking down upon the city, just as temples did, just as the Lord does. I placed the bed before the window and the tabletop of it. This was my altar now. I would sleep on the hard stone floor and suffer in virtue, as the Lord would have me do. I would shut all my thought, sight, sounds, and smell of a sinful word outside. I would spend my days praying, studying, and repenting. My diet would be water, fruit, and bread. I would be humble. I would find strength. I would learn the true meaning of faith in the little room and care not if the sinner outside were saved or damned. In this cell, I was a hermit. In this cell, I would cleanse the blood from my hands. In the frozen dead of a night, I awoke some weeks later. Above my Miyagi altar, and through this shuttered curtain, I could see a blinding orange light of fire. Turning it back into my room and flooded with smoke, ghastly, glowing smoke. And through the heat and the confusion of the moment, an image came slowly into the focus. The nearest tower was on flame, a beacon of God reduced to a harbinger of a mortal rage. As the bomb fell and the infernos began to raise, there was only one thing I could do. I prayed.